Finally in Illinois. It took fucking forever. Basically, where do I begin? I don't even know where to start with this one. So, when I left California, I expected to get to Illinois in just a couple days. I figured it would be a quick trip. It took fucking forever. I'm gonna go on my phone and look a couple things up to tell you guys some things. But basically, after, what has it been, 10 days? Alright, so I left Wednesday, May 9th. I got here Monday, May 21st. So that is 12 days, 13 days? I don't know, I'm really tired. Hold on. 11 days. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyways, so it took me 11 days to get here to Illinois. Would have only took me 6, but there was a 5-day layover in Utah because of the issues with the power to the coil. Now I did want to explain some of that. So basically, you guys saw the 2 wires on the outside of the car, and what I had to do was, when I lost the ignition spark, I tried everything I could, replace the ICM, replace the coil, everything like that, and nothing worked. So basically I had to run a wire directly from the battery to the coil for the 12 volt power, because for some reason the power just would cut out. I think it's a relay maybe or something like that. I honestly didn't have the time and money to stop and sit there and check after 5 days or 4 days of waiting for the ICM, and then another day after of troubleshooting stuff after that, because that turned out to not be what it was. We couldn't wait for another part. We just had to get it running. So I got it running, did what I could. And then basically that's what the 2 wires were. One was a positive and one was a ground, because I just ran a ground to the coil. And basically what happened was, through the opening and closing of the door, it eventually rode through, and as I explained to you in the previous video, caught fire, and you know, that's how I burned my hand. So yeah, definitely don't run it like that again. I still have it run that way, just 1 wire on each side, but I need to come up with a better solution. I need to redo my battery relocation with the proper wire, as it should be, proper gauge wire and stuff, and then I think my issues will be solved. For now, I'm happy. Just happy I made it. We're planning on the trip right now to go get my sister's car. It's going to be a few days probably though, before that happens, and then we'll have a video out of that too. But for now, that is the trip. So 11 days later, so from here to where we left is approximately 1,948 miles. So I, Jason, have taken my 1987 classic Nissan, 1,948 miles across America. Only broke down twice. Once was for 30 minutes, once was for 5 days. It happens. If I had done a better job of troubleshooting and had just downloaded the factory service manual initially, I may have saved myself a couple days. That was my own fault. But I had just assumed it was the ICM and hoped that that was what it was. It turned out not to be. But that was the trip. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. That was seriously one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life. I can't wait to travel again to go pick up my sister's car. We're probably going to take a trip that's almost the same mileage, maybe 1,500 miles, maybe a little less. She's got a couple cars in play that she's looking at. We're just trying to finalize an offer and finalize the date to leave and stuff. But that's really it. It was hard at times. I think the worst part was just leaving with a car that was so old that you're not sure if it's ready. It's very nerve-wracking. You're constantly checking gauges. You're constantly second-guessing yourself. It didn't help that my oil pressure gauge would constantly go out, so I wasn't aware if I was losing oil pressure or if it was just the gauge being shitty. And honestly, there was nothing I could do, so I just hoped it was the gauge being shitty. And considering I made it and only had a minor oil leak, I'm gonna say that that's probably just what it was. You know, the only reason I assumed that too is because my voltmeter gauge didn't work. The gauge that's supposed to tell you for alternators working, it constantly, when the car was on, it would read 8 volts, but if it's the voltmeter on the battery, I'd get like 13.5, which means it's charging. So it was just little things like that that made it difficult to trust the car. More than anything, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust that you can figure it out and that you have the ability to troubleshoot it. I think cars are very simple to fix and very simple to troubleshoot. I think the issue is people don't want to do the type of work required to learn how to read a factory service manual, to learn how to use the tools involved. And I'm lucky that I used to be an electrician, and that I used to be a plumber, and that I used to be a mechanic, and that I used to be a repair guy for electronics and computers and phones, and all these things have given me the ability to learn different tools and stuff that now all come together to work on cars. And so for me it seems a little bit easier, and I often wonder why people don't work on their own cars, but that is the reason why. I have a little bit more experience with the tools and stuff, so that's why it seems easy. But anyone can work on their car. It's not hard. It is time consuming. I don't know what mindset I get into, but I know that when I work on my car, I don't see it as a waste of time. I don't see it as anything like that. Like, I tell people it's fun, but it's really not fun. It's more like it's cathartic. Like, you kind of just get in this zone where you're just like work, and nothing matters but you and the car. And not only are you stressed to get to your destination, but you just want the car to work because it's something that you love and something that you put a lot of time and effort into. And you run into a lot of that when you go on a road trip like this, especially in an old car. So I definitely would say that I don't regret it. It was one of the most fun things ever. The only things I wish I had done differently was I wish I had gotten alignment before I left, because the rain was scary. I was fishtailing bad anytime it rained. And I also wish I had finished putting the white banner on the windshield. I had put the white banner on the windshield, and then the windshield broke before I left. I'll put some pictures in if I have them still. And I never put another one on, and I really wish I would have, because it would have tied the theme of the car together with the white wheels and the white windshield wipers with the white banner would have looked very good. But without the banner, it kind of didn't really tie anything together. And you couldn't even really tell that the windshield wipers were white without the banner. But other than those two minor things, alignment and the fucking banner, which is nothing, it's just some ricer shit. Besides those two things, it was great. It was a good time. The breakdown wasn't something I would have been able to predict. It wasn't something I would have been able to fix through regular maintenance, so I don't regret any of the maintenance I did beforehand, before leaving, or anything like that. Everything paid off in the end to make the trip as short as possible. And wow, I don't know if you heard that, but my dog just took a massive shit. That was disgusting. Anyways, in the end, the payoff was worth it. I got to see a lot of different things. I got to see a lot of America that I never would have. I got to meet people, whether it was just some gas station employee or someone serving us dinner at the restaurant or whatever. You get a little bit of each town and the people that you meet. And that was fun to see because, you get a sense of the area and a vibe and a feeling. And, every little town is different, and there's similarities, and there's things that are wildly different and stuff. And, you see some crazy stuff along the way. And I definitely recommend that if you and your friends have some old cars or some classic cars or any kind of car that you love and that you really enjoy using, however many of you, 2, 5, 10 of you, however many it is, all of you get in your car and drive 1,000 miles. It really isn't that time consuming. You could do it in a weekend, get to a place and back if it's like 500-600 miles away. And it doesn't cost that much in gas, You fill up with 91, because that does save you a little bit of gas, especially if you have a little bit more advanced timing and stuff like that. And other little things, little tune-up things that you can do to save gas, overfill your tires, which is dangerous, but still saves you gas. Little shit like that, it's not that expensive. Gas is pretty cheap, especially the farther you get away from California, at least for me. Anywhere on the coast, it's fucking expensive, but the farther you get inland in America, it's cheap. At one point, for 91 premium, I was paying as low as $3. We saw one place, and we didn't stop, but we saw one place that had premium for $2.99, and it was 92, it wasn't 91. So that was pretty cool, but I had a full tank at that point. So, but it's really not that expensive. A couple $100 to get you there, especially if you bring your own food. If you have the ability, the issue that I had was I'm moving, so I have a lot of stuff in the car, and for a lot of people, you would obviously not be moving, so you'd have more space. So you could bring a cooler, you could bring something like that, throw it in the back, put some ice in it, or some frozen little things. and bring some food with you. You can bring a couple coolers, and that'll save you a lot of money. And especially like if you still live with your parents, steal a bunch of their shit, steal a bunch of their food, and take that. And just go out. Like, anyone can do it. If you have a car, you can do it. There's no reason you can't go 500, 600 miles or whatever. The car may break, but be prepared. Have the tools. It's not that hard. All you need is a voltmeter or like an electrical tester of some sort, preferably one that includes a test light, and an ohm reader. You need the knowledge to know how to use it, which is very simple. But again, you need to make sure you know how to use it, and you need a wrench set, a screwdriver set, and really that's it. That's all I needed. Oh, and I had an extra spool of wire and some wire strippers that came in handy. If you have stuff like that, just you cover your bases. You get some butt connectors, a little electrical things, electrical tape, stuff like that here and there, zip ties. Make a little package before you leave. Everyone buys a different thing, and you buy it in bulk. Like, someone gets a big ass thing of zip ties, someone gets a 10 millimeter, or someone brings the ratchets, and someone brings the sockets, and someone else brings this tool, and someone else brings that tool, and someone brings the jacks and stuff like that. If you guys all pitch in and bring it all together, you'll have enough to fix every car there. And if you have enough people there, you'll keep each other motivated. When you're by yourself, it's harder to stay motivated. When you're with friends and they want to get going, they'll help you out. They'll keep you motivated. You guys will laugh. You'll have a good time. You'll turn a bad situation good. So there's no reason no one can do it. It's not that expensive. Sell your Xbox, sell your PlayStation, sell your gaming computer. That's what I did a long time ago to fund a lot of my car stuff. I used to be very into video games, and I just sold it all and realized it doesn't do anything for you. At the end of the day, what are you going to be able to tell people? Like, even if you get to be the #1 in a video game, like my aspirations used to be, I wanted to be professional. Like, at the end of the day, at the end of your life, you're going to look at someone and be like, yeah, I was a professional video game player in this game, in this one game, and I was the best at it in the world. After 40 years after that game's gone, that don't matter. But if you tell someone, yeah, I took a trip across America, or I went with my friends 500 miles and we saw some awesome shit and took our cars along the way that we loved, and put a lot of time and effort into it, and we broke down along the way, and we fixed the car, and we learned a lot about ourselves, and did drugs and smoked weed and got drunk on the beach, or whatever you did. Like, it's an experience. It's better than video games and TV and Netflix and shit. That's why I don't really participate in any of that. I don't recommend any of that to anyone. The most I watch is YouTube. And almost everything I watch on YouTube is instructive or informative in some way, besides a couple things. Obviously comedy is important and stuff. You gotta stay happy and shit. But besides that, like, that's the best advice I could give someone who would want to do a road trip like this. Is really just sell all the shit that doesn't matter in your life, because you got a lot of it. Look around your room, dude. Like, those Supreme shirts ain't doing shit for you. Those fucking gold chains ain't doing shit for you. The fucking fake XXR wheels on your car ain't doing shit for you, bro. Just get some stockies. Like, fund your trip. The experience is more important than the look surrounding you and stuff like that, and what you have. Like, at the end of the day, you can, in 50 years from now, you tell someone, yeah, I used to have all the coolest Supreme shirts before they came out. They're not going to give a shit. You tell someone that you took your car across the country, they're going to want to know about that story, And that's the way I look at it. It's all about the experience. So if you want to do something like that, it's not expensive, it's cheap. You have a guarantee, if you look around in your room and you still live with your parents, you have $1,000 or more in stuff that you could sell right now on Craigslist, Letgo, anything like that. You have car parts sitting in your garage. Your parents have stuff. You could work for them for the weekend or something. Like, it's not hard. If everyone pitches in, everyone can do it, especially if y'all pitch in food, y'all pitch in gas and shit, everyone together, and it'll be fun, Other than that, that's really it. I just want to let you guys know I made it. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be doing it again soon within the next week or two. Don't know where we're going to go yet. We're still finalizing things, but I do know at some point I want to travel to New York, and at some point I do want to go to Florida and check those states out, see what they have to show me. And I'm definitely going to be taking a road trip there. Maybe if you guys enjoy, you might want to come along, make a thing out of it. We can sticker up our cars and fucking call it a rally or something, I don't know. But that was really it. My 1987 Nissan 200 SX kept me happy almost the entire way there. I had almost no issues with it that weren't really expected. And I hope I can take an even older car out soon with the stock engine and everything like that. Like, a lot of people called me crazy, said I wasn't going to make it and stuff, but you know, you just got to believe in yourself. You got to trust that you can troubleshoot it. Last thing I'll say before I go is the easiest way to motivate yourself to work on your car or to fix things or to learn about it is to put yourself in a situation where you have no other option. You know, when I was in Utah stuck for 5 days, I had no other option but to get down, just fucking get to it and get through that factory service manual and go through every fucking pinout chart and every little thing and check every little thing with the ohm meter, check the ECU codes, the ECU pins, everything until I figured out the issue. And now that I know about it, if I run into an issue like that again, I know what a temporary fix, and I've learned a couple of things on how to test a couple of things and stuff. And you know, you learn as you go. Cars are like Legos; they're easy. You just put them together, you take them apart. You have the ability to do it. All you really need is just a few basic tools, probably like less than $200 in tools, and you're good to go wherever you want to. But definitely recommend it to anyone. And that's really all I have to say. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming along. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to try and come out with a lot more videos. I want to provide a lot more car content for you guys. Car shows, car meets, stuff like that. Everything around me. I'm going to be traveling all over the East Coast in my 200SX. I'm going to be showing you all the mods I do to it, the eventual engine swap and stuff. So stay tuned. Please subscribe. Please like, leave a comment or dislike, whatever. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. That's everything. So peace out.